I have 9:30.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Western Municipal Water District's regular board meeting for July the 6th at 9:30. At this time, I would like to remind our folks in the audience, if you have a cell phone, you can please put that on stun, silent, something along those lines, so you're not that person. Appreciate it. Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and read in our COVID protocols, please, and call the roll?
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Pursuant to Western Municipal Water District Resolution 3237, in an effort to protect the public health, prevent the spread of COVID-19, and because state and local officials are recommending measures to promote social distancing, the public may view this board meeting virtually via Zoom and in person. This meeting is being live streamed at WMWD.com and will be video recorded for on-demand viewing and broadcasting purposes. As stated on the agenda, members of the public who wish to comment on any item on the agenda may make comments in person, virtually via Zoom, or by submitting comments on the district's website. Comments received on the district's website before 4:30 p.m. July 5th, 2022 will be made part of the board meeting record. For those participating in the Zoom virtual meeting who wish to provide public comments, please indicate such by using the raise hand feature, and we will call on you individually. For those participating by telephone who wish to provide public comment, you may do so by pressing *6 to unmute yourself. Phone callers can also press *9 to activate the raise hand feature. If there is more than one caller, you will be identified and called on one at a time. Any public comment will be limited to 3 minutes in duration. However, the presiding officer reserves the right to reduce the amount of time you will be allowed to speak to ensure that all members of the public have an opportunity to provide their comment. I will now take roll call for the meeting. Due to the complexity of conducting this meeting by Zoom and telephonically, I will not be taking roll call for staff members or the public at this time. Director Roten.
I am here. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Director Rizvi.
Good morning. I'm here.
Good morning. Director Gardner.
I am present.
Thank you. Good morning. Director Torres.
Here. Good
Thank you. Good morning. President Dinstedt.
Good morning, I'm present.
Good morning. President Dinstedt, you do have a quorum today.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, at this time, we're going to go ahead and call up Chase to lead us in the pledge. And Chase, before you get started, could you please tell us what department you work for, what your job title is, and how long you've worked for the agency, please?
Good morning. My name is Chase Sexton. I work on mechanical services. I'm Operations Technician 3. I've been here a little over 5 years now.
Great. Thank you very much. Please, if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning.
Yes, ma'am. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here today.
Thank you. You guys have a great day today.
Thanks, you as well.
Stay cool.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move into our public comment portion this morning. This is for any item which is not currently posted on our agenda under the jurisdiction of this agency to be able to enact upon. Madam Secretary, is there anyone in our audience who indicated they wish to speak under public comment?
We have no members in the audience requesting to speak, and I see no members on Zoom asking to speak either. We did receive one written comment prior to the deadline that has been provided to the board members. It's on the dais and was emailed to you this morning.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, we'll go on to our consent calendar. We'll start off with any member of the board wishing to pull any item. Okay, any member of the public wishing to make a comment on any of the consent calendar items. Okay, I will pull it back up to the board for a motion, please.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Director Rizvi, and take your pick on either Director Torres or Director Gardner because they both chimed off on two.
Ladies first.
They did. I heard Director Torres first.
Okay, here we go. All right, I have a motion to approve and a second. We'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Thank you. Director Roten?
Yes.
Director Rizvi,
Yes.
Director Gardner,
Aye.
Director Torres,
Yes.
President Dinstat.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 6 on our agenda. Mr. Miller, good morning. Anything
morning.
to be added to our agenda this morning?
There's nothing to add to the agenda today.
Okay, I'll move it on to legal counsel. Good morning, legal counsel. Anything to, oh, and welcome, legal counsel. You are our fill-in for the day.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Nothing to add on my end.
Great.
Since you're the substitute, does that mean we get to misbehave?
I promise I won't tell.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to action agenda. Item 7A is to conduct a public hearing on our proposed adoption of the sewer charges to be collected by the tax roll. Mr. Miller.
Thank you very much. Item 7A, we'll invite Vivian up to we do have a script to follow, thank you, but Vivian will be doing a presentation. So, President Denstead, if you want to open up with the script, and then we'll have a staff presentation.
Okay, here we go. This is the time and place for the public hearing regarding the collection of sewer service charges and any prior year unassessed sewer service charges on the tax roll for fiscal year 2022 and 2023.
The collection of sewer service charges on the tax roll for fiscal year 2022-2023 applies to all parcels of real property to which Western provides sewer service but not water service. Notice of the hearing for proposed collection of such charges on the county tax rolls has been given properly. I have proof of publication which shows that the notice was published in the Press Enterprise, a newspaper of general circulation in Riverside County on June 15th and June 22nd, year 2022.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Miller. Those documents are ordered, received, and filed.
Placing sewer charges on the tax roll will allow for collection of $1,246,840. This dollar amount is derived from 1,939 sewer accounts. The sewer charge is $53.47 per equivalent dwelling unit, that is known as an EDU, per month for 12 months. This monthly rate was previously adopted by the board after conducting a rate hearing in compliance with Proposition 218. The total fiscal year amount per EDU is $641.64 for applicable customers in the home gardens in nearby area. Some of these accounts require additional maintenance on pipelines serving their area per agreement with the original housing developer. Those accounts incur an additional $5 per month charge for lateral cleaning and inspection.
Thank you, Rod. Appreciate that information. This time, the hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on this issue? Okay, seeing none, Madam Secretary, have you received any other comments from anyone attending on our Zoom platform or on the telephone?
I see none, and I've received no requests.
Thank you very much. There being no further comments, I declare the public hearing closed. The matter is now before the board for discussion. Anybody?
Madam President, this is the kind of thing that you never especially want to do, but I think it's important that we do. We can't have the ratepayers who do pay their bills subsidizing those who don't pay their bills. And in reality, many of the properties that this will go on the tax roll for are not owner-occupied properties. So I would move approval. Move approval.
Okay, I have a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve from Director Gardner and a second from Director Torres. Any further discussion from anyone? Okay. Madam Secretary, we'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Director Roten,
Yes.
Director Rizvi, Director Gardner,
Aye.
Director Torres,
Yes.
Dinstedt?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much. And it should be noted that this is the way that we've collected this for a number of years so that we don't, have another means to be able to do that,
Well,
so.
and it's also not unique to this agency. It's common for
Yes,
agencies to do that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and I would just add that the important point here is that normally we collect this on the water bill, but these customers don't get a water bill from us, so we have to have some means to collect it. That's why it's placed on the tax rolls. So we said that before, but it's an important
Right.
reason. It's not like we're just levying new taxes. This is something that we have to do to collect sewer charges.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on. 7B, this is also to conduct a public hearing regarding the proposed adoption of Resolution 3235, setting the fiscal year 2022-2023 water and sewer availability charges, also known as standby charges, for Marietta service area and placing those charges on the county tax roll, and upon completion of the hearing, consider adoption of that resolution. Okay, at this time, Mr. Miller.
Sorry. Notice of the hearing for proposed collection of water and sewer availability charges on the county tax roll has been properly given. I have proof of publication which shows that the notice was published in the Press Enterprise, a newspaper of general circulation in Riverside County on June 15th and June 22nd, 2022.
Hey, thank you. Those documents are ordered, received, and filed.
Madam President, the board is being asked to adopt the proposed water and sewer availability charges listed in Resolution 3235. The charge is equal to $21 per acre, with fractions of an acre rounded up to the nearest whole acre for both water and sewer, for a combined total of $42 per acre. The amount of the charges has remained unchanged since fiscal year 2002-2003. Water and sewer charges billed monthly to customers, along with these availability charges, are used to provide the necessary revenue to pay for operating and maintaining the water and sewer systems in the Marietta service area. Assessing the availability charge on all parcels promotes cost sharing between existing customers and unconnected property owners, all of whom benefit from the region having water and sewer service available. It also adheres to the standard of cost causation, where Western, as the utility service provider, has incurred significant capital investment and ongoing maintenance cost in order to provide service to both existing and future customers. By collecting availability charges on the tax rolls as operating revenue, approximately $262,000 of the system operating expenses are paid for that otherwise would need to be offset in higher water and sewer customer rates.
Thank you, Rod. The hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on this issue? Is there anyone on the Zoom platform or calling in today that has any comments in regard to this issue?
I have no request to speak.
Okay, thank you very much. There being no further comments, I declare the public hearing closed. The matter is now before the board for discussion. Anyone? Comments?
No comments, Madam President. This is another one of the ones that I think we need to do. It is a mechanism to fund our facilities, and it really isn't the agency's business, how the fees get paid, whether it's a CFD or advance payment by the developer. So I will move approval.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve by Director Gardner and a second by Director Torres. We'll go ahead and call for the vote, Madam Secretary.
Director Roten?
Yes.
Director Rizvi?
Yes.
Director Gardner?
Aye.
Director Torres?
Yes.
President Dinstedt?
No.
Thank you. The motion carries 4-1 with President Dinstedt voting no.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to item 7C. Mr. Miller.
Yes, item 7C is to adopt Resolution 3227 and 3228, approving the fiscal year 22-23 budgets and levy of special taxes for Community Facilities District number 88-1 and Community Facilities District number 99-1. Now I'll hand it over to Vivian for a presentation. I've been anxious to hand it to you all day.
Good morning.
I just have to say I love your top. Oh, thank you so much. Good morning, President Dunstan and members of the board. This item seeks the board's adoption of Resolution 3227 and 3228, approving the fiscal year 23 budgets and levy for both of the Murrieta Community Facilities Districts, also known as the CFDs. As the CFDs are separate legal entities from Western, Western is required annually to adopt a budget for each CFD. These budgets provide the necessary funds to pay for the debt service on the bonds that were issued by the CFDs and to also pay for the related administrative expenses for each CFD. These budgets are also used to calculate the special tax rates for each CFD. For CFD 88-1, the special taxes, for CFD 88-1, the total budget and levy amount is $132,703, which is a $63 decrease from the prior year. For CFD 99-1, the total budget and levy amount is $153,159. This is a $103 decrease from the prior year. The resolutions will also approve and also authorize the levy of the special taxes on the county tax roll, which is required by the County Auditor Controller's Office. Staff is currently requesting that the board adopt Resolution 3227 and 3228, approving the fiscal year 23 budgets and levy for CFD 88-1 and 99-1. And this concludes my remarks, and staff is available for any questions.
Thank you very much. Madam Secretary, is there anyone out of the public who wishes to comment on this item?
I have no requests.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from any member of the board? Okay. Couple of things. So I'm going to ask for this item. One, we've rolled one of these off because in prior years we've had one. So that one has concluded and it has been paid off. What are the conclusion and payoff dates for 88-1 and 99-1? Do we know what those dates are?
Yes, so the maturity date for 88-1 and 99-1 are both October 2030.
Wow. We're creeping up.
Believe me. Believe me. And I'd also like for you to explain why there has been a decrease in both of the amounts being collected this year, if you could, please.
So I know that we refinanced the bonds last year.
There it is.
Kevin might have some more detailed information on that, but we did refinance the bonds last year, and that decreased the annual debt service payment.
Well, I'd love to hear from Kevin if he's got a couple of additional factual information that he could provide to us about the refinance and how that did not extend the terms of the bond, and that's why it saved money for folks. Yes.
In fact, legally, we can't extend the terms of the bonds, but it had a net present value savings of almost $250,000. So that's all the interest savings over time because we refinanced them at a lower rate, taking advantage of the market. So it's a great deal. We did this last summer.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to make sure that folks understood why we are collecting less, because traditionally that's not how these work out. Generally, they kind of tick up over a little bit of time, and they have an escalator in there that we do not have here. Is that correct?
That is correct. In fact, our board president was the one who suggested that we look into it, so we appreciate that encouragement.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I think it's we hit the market at the right time, and all of the finances worked out to our advantage because this has been sitting on the books for obviously quite some time, and it was something that we inherited from the prior district when we did the merger with them. So I wanted to make sure that people know that this is not something that's going to extend forever and ever. It does have an end date. So this is, obviously, while we don't like to collect these things, this is not ideal what we want to do, but we did try to do everything we could to try to bring money down off of this and take advantage of a ideal market. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. Any other comments from any members of the board?
No, but so move.
Okay. I have a motion to approve.
Second. I think I was second to second.
Madam Secretary, I'll let you decide
It
which
doesn't
one
matter.
you'd like to put into your little machine there to see.
Once again, ladies first.
It was Director Risby.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and call for the vote.
Director Roten?
Yes.
Director Risby? Director Gardner?
Aye.
Director Torres?
Yes.
President Dinstead?
I'm going to go ahead and, for the very first time, much to staff's chagrin, I am going to vote yes on this. And simply because staff has done a really bang-up job when we went out and did the interest on this. It's something that's necessary. We can't just remove it, and it can't be paid off in a bulk sum. And so I will go ahead with my yes vote this year.
The balloons and confetti didn't come out from.
I'm telling you, right? Because I'm looking at the smiles from everybody. But you know what? When things happen in the right time, in the right place, and do it for the right reasons, because we really, you guys put a lot of work into this, and I appreciate you doing what you did to save the customers money and reducing this for the long haul for the term, and the payoff date is coming soon. And I'm going to memorialize the one that we did last year, that it finally got paid off, and we were able to send those customers money, saying they're not going to see it on their tax roll anymore. So that's my vote. Thank you.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead to 7D.
All right, thank you. Item 7D is an item that we brought to Engineering Committee yesterday, and our normal practice is not to bring it to the board the next day. We like to leave a little time for the board members to ask questions, but there is a time urgency on this one. So this is a good news story. Melissa's here to tell us a little bit more about it. You've seen Melissa up here many times, and this is her continued mission to find funding for our project. So this is another grant application that she needs permission to pursue. Melissa?
Good morning, directors.
Good morning.
So this here, we're asking the board to adopt Resolution 3241, supporting a Defense Community Infrastructure Grant application to the Office of Local Defense Community Cooperation, Department of Defense. So we're asking to apply for $7.5 million for Western Sewer Force Main Project to benefit March Air Reserve Base. The application is due July 18th, and a board resolution is required to apply. I am available for any questions.
Okay. Madam Secretary, do we have any member of the public wishing to comment on this item?
I have no requests.
Okay. Any member of the board who has any question about applying for a grant for $7.5 million?
No, I
We'll
just
get
am
them.
really. I'm always so happy when you're here.
Okay. Looking for a motion on that.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion from Director Risby. I have a second from Director Torres. Go ahead and we will call for the vote.
Thank you. Director Roten?
Absolutely yes.
Director Risby?
Aye.
Director Gardner?
Aye.
Director Torres?
Yes.
President Dinstead?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Okay, Melissa, go and write that thing up.
Already written. We're good.
Get the signatures. Get it in the mail.
Check.
Thank you very much. Melissa, just one question. How fast do we expect to hear some type of a response back on this application?
This one specifically in September.
Thank you very much. So quick turnaround.
Very quick.
Great, thank you. And for those members of the public maybe didn't hear that on Zoom, it was September was the answer to that question. All right, moving on to our reports section. We'll go on to General Counsel. Good morning, sir, again.
Good morning.
Anything to report today?
Nothing to report. Just that Jeff Ballinger's having a nice time in Sweden. All reports are good. So yeah, thanks for having me, and nothing to report from me.
Great, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here today. All right, moving on. General Manager, Mr. Miller.
Thank you. I do have a couple of things. First thing I want to keep on the board's radar screen is the Solve the Water Crisis Coalition, and give a little update on that. Things are continuing to build. Momentum's continuing. We are working very hard statewide. The emphasis right now is to really push the coalition with the business community statewide. So there's a huge effort for anyone watching today's meeting that hasn't heard this before. This is a coalition of general managers that have come together to work with the state to plan for long-term water supply at the state. We, as general managers, don't feel like the state is heading in the right direction with their investment in water infrastructure. We work really hard locally to invest heavily in our own infrastructure and our own water supplies. The state has not shown the same interest over the last 5 decades, and this coalition is trying to push water as the main agenda item in Sacramento that we need to invest. And as the board is well aware, there's a significant budget surplus, and we are pushing for that money to be utilized for future water investments. So you've heard about a couple of op-eds that have run very widely across the state. We're crafting our second op-ed that hopefully will be picked up soon, and we're working on our third op-ed to be picked up after that. So it's a huge effort. Our consultants doing an excellent job. The other agencies that are supporting this effort are also active, and so it's going really well. So just want to keep that on your radar screen, because we're actually to the point now, you've been hearing about this for some time, and a lot of the activities up until the last month have been in building the membership of the coalition. That membership is strong now, and so now the effort is actually getting the message out. And so it's actually time for the electeds at all the agencies to, understand the message and start, utilizing that message when you're talking to the business community and the public, because we need to elevate this issue to our voters and the public, and they need to make sure that they're pushing this to be a statewide ballot issue as we're going through the election cycle. The second item is kind of following up on some of Melissa's work. So federal earmark. So we were successful in getting through the House Interior and Environment Subcommittee with a funding request that we have for PFAS treatment at Worth. That's a $3.92 million request that'll be in the FY 2023 spending bill. So it's really good news that it passed the House Interior and Environment Subcommittee. So we're really happy about that. But there's a few more hurdles that it has to get over. We're confident it'll get there, but it still has to go through the full House markup and then through the Senate. But we're watching it very closely, and our consultants back in DC are pushing really hard and staying on top of it and keeping us in the loop of all their efforts. Then the last thing I wanted to highlight is I think the board members, when they leave today, should hang a left turn down the hallway and go look at the Galliano Water is Life wall. So we have completed that, and it looks beautiful. And we are planning for the opening event later this year. Sarah and the communications team already have a very detailed plan of how that's going to happen, but go look at it. It looks fantastic. And that completes my comments.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
Anything else you'd like to talk about in addition in this room?
Well, we were making a little bet. Staff was betting if any of the board members would notice that we have redone the artwork. Well, redone. We've done artwork. This building was planned for artwork, and if you're here, you can notice the lights, which are not actually exactly where we want them, so there'll be some changes in the lighting. But for years, we've had lighting up, waiting for artwork, and at the persistence of a certain board member, we've been working on this, and we actually are very happy to focus on our operations of the agency. It kind of, if you follow the pictures around, it kind of follows the water cycle. And our landscapes with style is focused over on the wall, which is a very popular book that staff put out that kind of shows people how to convert their lawns into drought-tolerant landscapes. So I hope the board's happy with it.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. And for the comment on that one board member, gee whiz. Yeah, the building was designed for artwork to be displayed, and that was a variety of different platforms that we were looking at and had discussions about at the time. Not only was it for Water for Life, calendars, and things like that, but at some point we had a discussion about whether or not to have customer contest for pictures and submitting for our facilities or different types of things. So there were a lot of discussions over the years that have happened, and maybe that's something that we could go back to and have discussions about at some point in time, because I'd love to see what the public comes up with in terms of what their thoughts are on what does water mean and the facilities and a variety of different things that we could talk about. But love the pictures, love the detail, love this landscapes with style. That's I'm looking forward to walking over there and taking a close look at that. But thank you, Mr. Miller. It's
Well, and maybe I didn't do justice in the effort that went into planning the pictures. I know the board members don't necessarily go out and walk the sites, but I can walk you around. So the picture back there in the back is our new Victoria recharge basin. So that was testing the basin. So that's a stormwater capture facility. So we're capturing raindrops as they fall. That water that goes into the ground is extracted at the Arlington desalter. Those are reverse osmosis membranes from the Arlington desalter. And then if you look more at stormwater capture back here, this is Seven Oaks Dam. We have rights, 98,000 acre feet of rights to capture stormwater behind Seven Oaks. It's put into the ground. This is a picture of our favorite pump station. This is the Sterling pump station, which is operational. We're very happy to talk about that. And so that is moving water around our distribution system from anywhere from water that comes through our imported connection with MWD at the Mills treatment plant to water that we pump out of the ground in Chino Basin and Riverside Basin. It can move it up the hill to our retail customers. Our retail customers are represented by one of our many tanks that holds potable water before it goes into the neighborhood. And then the end of the story is the Worth wastewater treatment plant.
No, it's this is great. Are we planning on labeling the pictures at some point? Here comes our communication gal.
Yes, Director, I'm so glad you asked. We will be providing some informational panels, specifically in the artwork in the back, where we know many of our guests will be able to see that. Up here, that's a little bit more challenging. It wouldn't be legible, but it's something we'll be providing a legend map in the front there. We also provide our landscape with style books in the front as well, so as guests want to come grab one of those, they can see it more life-size as they're walking through the room and joining us for our meetings.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. It's nice to actually get these up where we intended these to be many, many years ago. So thank you for that, Mr. Miller. Appreciate that and appreciate the efforts of staff. So was that the conclusion of your report today?
That is the conclusion, and we have a very creative staff that's able to pull this stuff off, so congratulations to them.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to director's reports. SAPA.
Thank you. SAPA met June 21st and did three somewhat significant things. First was they established rates for fiscal year 23 for the Inland Empire brine line. Rates increased slightly, largely driven by increased costs from Orange County Sanitation District, which is a pass-through. They did approve the mitigated negative declaration for the weather modification project, the cloud seeding, and they approved a 4% merit pool and a 5% COLA for SAPA employees. And that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. For Metropolitan, for this month coming up, we've got only one meeting date scheduled, which is going to be next week. So the chair has decided to take and give a little bit of a vacation break, I guess, and a gap in the meetings. So we'll have a very long one-day meeting, which will be next week. So I'll be able to report more after that. Okay. Chino Basin.
The water master did meet, took two significant actions. They received the Prado Basin Habitat Sustainability Committee report, which is pretty important. Craig has been involved in it on both sides, actually, from his days in Orange County and then his days at IEUA with slightly different positions. But it is an important settlement, the report is the result of an important settlement of an argument between Orange County, who ends up getting the water that flows down Santa Ana River and ponds behind Prado, and the local producers who wanted to pump more. And Orange County has invested significant money in habitat development in the Prado Basin, and there was concern that if too much water is pumped, that the habitat will suffer for lack of water to the root systems. We are seeing a little bit of a decline in the water table, but no impact on the vegetation, at least as yet, and we'll continue to monitor. The other action was to extend the contract of the Chino Basin Water Master General Manager for another year. And that was it.
Okay, thank you very much. CDA.
Meeting is tomorrow.
Okay. RCRA.
It's not till September. It's start till September.
Okay, thank you. WRCOG, we had the General Assembly, so there was over 700 people that attended the General Assembly. So that was really exciting to have everybody back in the same room and attending it. I think it was a well put out event. We had the executive committee meeting the day after to talk about and do a little bit of a debrief of what worked well, what didn't work well. So if you have comments and attended that event, you have input, positive or negative, would love to hear that so I could feed it back with the group. And then we talked about strategic priorities, new leadership coming in, committee assignments type of thing that are going to be going on. So all of that will be shaken out here in the next couple of weeks. And then next week, we'll jump back into the meeting because obviously Monday was a holiday. So that is all I have for WRCOG. Sarah.
We were supposed to meet tomorrow, but it's canceled. So it's going to be in August.
Okay, thank you. All right, and Aqua. So we did have a Region 9 program that was very successful. It was a sellout program, so we were really pleased about that. There were some very positive comments that we received over some speakers that attended that function, and I know that everybody was looking forward and got some really good updates. So, Mr. Miller, is there any particular thing that you found of interest in attending that event, or any other staff members that were there?
This sounds like a test of whether I was paying attention or not. There actually was a really interesting keynote speaker that was kind of misrepresented on the program, but gave a very interesting presentation that legal counsel would have enjoyed listening to also, about the impact on the equity of projects that are built in urban areas because of certain groups have more ability to protest projects through CEQA challenges than other groups have. So it was really interesting. And as, you know, an agency that builds a lot of projects and has to go through the CEQA process constantly, it was really interesting to listen to this lawyer talk about some of the pitfalls
Yes.
and unintended consequences of CEQA and how it actually has led to a unfair sharing of consequences of projects across the state. And it was really thought-provoking because, you know, why are certain projects built in certain cities and in certain parts of cities and not in others? So it was really interesting. And actually, Derek and Tim and I with Ryan and the Water Resources Group had a long conversation about it yesterday, making sure that we're thinking about the different elements of our CEQA process when we go to move projects forward. So I enjoyed that a lot.
Yes.
Is that what you were,
Yeah,
is that what you were prompting me for?
Yeah, she was very engaging, and it was really interesting to hear some of her in-depth discussion. So I think that the portion of her program was also emailed out to everybody. Is that?
I don't know. It was supposed to be made available to all the attendees. I have not checked.
Aqua did send it out.
Okay, I hadn't. Yeah, and my thing is whammied right now, so so we'll get that if anybody is interested in seeing some of that information. She was very enlightening. She was a very entertaining and engaging speaker, so she really kept the attention of a lot of folks.
If I could, just another, I think, important aspect of her presentation was that while California as a state is attempting to become as close to carbon neutral as it can, it in fact is creating more global carbon by some of their actions than they would if they did not ban fossil fuels in California, particularly the cleaner ones, natural gas, things like that. And it was really an interesting discussion. And coming from the person it came from, she took positions I would not really have expected her to. She is very much a social activist, protection of disadvantaged communities, oriented attorney. She lives in Berkeley, and she is saying that the state's climate actions are actually creating some harm, and that the state has a goal of reducing the population in California and shipping 30 jobs out of state to adjoining states or even out of country, which was, I thought it was an amazing presentation. It was really educational.
Well, I'll be sure to share that with the group. Yeah, I really enjoyed her talk and her insight, and she was she was a very lively speaker for sure. So she really had some very good anecdotes that she kind of zung in there at times and kept everybody very, very much on the edge of their seat and engaged in what was going on. So we'll see if there's, you know, like I said, we should have access to that presentation, and I'll certainly put that feedback back to Aqua so that if we can engage with her again at some other point in time to have more discussions, that would be really good.
Yeah, President Denson, I think that is a really good idea to give Aqua, as our representative up there for Region 9, some feedback, because I think she would be an outstanding presenter for the big Aqua conference.
Yes, yes.
And I think statewide, and it would be very beneficial for our legislators to listen to that presentation, because one of her primary messages is, as well-intentioned as the effort is to reduce carbon and prevent greenhouse gases, passing legislation that isn't well thought out is doing exactly the opposite of that. And it's actually creating more carbon footprint than the intention was to remove it. But I'll give just a quick example building on Director Gardner's point. But by, as an example, making steel production in California move to Asia, the raw material now, instead of just being produced in California, the raw material is shipped across the ocean, creating all sorts of greenhouse gases. It's produced over in China and turned into steel, creating greenhouse gases. It's brought back, creating greenhouse gases, shipping it back. It's put into port, creating more greenhouse gases, and then railroaded or trucked wherever it needs to go, creating more greenhouse gases. So the net impact on the world is much greater greenhouse gases than had we just kept the jobs and the manufacturing in California and tried to clean up the emissions here in California in their production process. So very, very interesting.
And the manufacture overseas is much more environmentally degrading than manufacture in California would have been. Far fewer emission controls.
Right. No, so it was very interesting. So yeah, I'm glad to hear this feedback because I'm happy to take this back to Aqua, and I think you're right. I think that she would be an excellent speaker for a larger audience and on the platform of Aqua, and possibly doing it at one of the luncheons or something along those lines so that everybody could hear, or to their legislative day when they're invited to attend, to talk about leadership and water policy and a lot of different things. So yeah, very, very interesting program. So I'm glad that we were able to put that on for the region and people were attending it and got to hear all of the information that was put out on that. So, okay, moving on to director's comments. I will start off with Director Rizvi. Any director comments?
Last week I attended the Concert for Heroes at the it was my first time there, and it was beautiful. It was really good. So that, and then City of Corona had the 4th of July parade, and fireworks. So that was amazing. So it was a good 4th of July weekend with a lot of celebrations and going on. And regarding the General Assembly, it was a great event. Steve Wozniacki was such a great speaker. It was a great event. Just one comment, that the only thing is that the awards should be a part of, I'm like, it was a part of dinner, so people were not paying attention when the community awards were giving out to the people. I think they've done a great job. These were some remarkable people who have done a great job for the community, but I felt like we were all like socializing in a way, so we were not paying attention. So that was one of the things that I thought should be a little later or changed around.
Yeah, I think it had to do more with the timing, and things were a little bit off that night with service on getting dinner placed.
Yes.
So I think they had to change the timeline a little bit. I don't think that's what the original intention was.
Yes, so. But other than that, it was a great event. And it was so good to see so many people that I'd only seen on Zoom. So that was a good event to connect with a lot of water folks. So
great. Thank you. Director Roughton.
I was also blessed to attend the Concert for Heroes at Riverside National. That cemetery is such a treasure, and we are it's just a gift to our area. It's just amazing. And I was proud to notice that we sponsored. I saw our squiggles. I saw our logo on the program, so that was really cool. And it was nice to be back in person there. It had been a few years, I think even before COVID, a couple of years that I didn't attend that, and so it was nice to be back and see everybody all in their red, white, and blue colors, and families with picnics, and it was just really cool. Gosh, and you reminded me of one other thing, and that went right out of my mind. Oh, WRCOG. Loved it. It was great being back at the General Assembly, and the only suggestion I might make, the sound I didn't think was great.
We
for
talked
the
about that.
speaker.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I know there was a little trouble at the beginning of it, but then even once he got going, it was kind of difficult to hear, and I wasn't sure if it was just me or
No,
So-
that also came out during the debrief after,
Ah,
so.
good. Food was delicious, I have to say.
So there was a little bit of a thing with the food too, but
I
we'll,
thought it was delicious.
no, we appreciate that, so, but there
Yeah.
was a little bit of a switch there, so, but, okay.
Good job. And, oh, how could I not say the centerpieces were amazing?
Okay, right? No, for sure. And I think people were snatching those off at the tables to haul them home, so, which is exactly what we intended. And they were living centerpieces, so they got to keep them and keep watering them, and they'll keep going on going. So, good,
Yeah, good event.
great.
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Director Gardner.
I think most of my comments have been made. I was going to mention the centerpieces at WRCOG. They were co-sponsored by Western and Eastern, and our president and our staff had a significant input in designing them, and they really were very nice. And anybody who has one, water it with used dishwater, not fresh water. We're short of water.
Okay. Director Torres.
Wonderful. I just want to say, well, I had it on my notes, so I did notice the decor. It's beautiful. The landscapes with style. I'm just blown away. I sat here and I was like, whoa, like it caught my attention. So that's beautifully done. With that said, you mentioned we have rights at Seven Oaks Dam. I'm not sure who hasn't been on the board, but I think it would be a nice tour. I personally love the tours that they do at Seven Oaks Dam, so I'm sure whichever board members haven't been would be something good.
We've talked about this. We can try and pull that together. It's a difficult facility to get access to nowadays with security concerns, but we can give it a shot.
Yeah, I know it's gotten a lot more difficult, and I had mine, right when they finished the building it. So, but it is a wonderful tour to take. And then I want to congratulate our very own Michael Hadley on his upcoming wedding, and congratulations. I know I've since we've been on the board, you've been talking about it, so I don't know if it's been put off or it's just finally happening, but congratulations. The concert of Heroes was beautiful. I couldn't be there too long, but like you said, Laura, it's a treasure. It's up the street here and around the corner. But I love having it. Growing up, so many memories of visiting to bury loved ones, and so it's now going there to celebrate those things is a different feeling and wonderful. So. And then lastly, if you're a Riversider or not, we had the grand opening of the Cheech Marine Chicano Arts Museum. It's absolutely beautiful. I hope you guys, you make it, you and your families can go out and make it. It is truly, truly one of a kind. I know I personally I've been there twice already because it's that great. My kids have loved it. So take a chance, take some time and go visit it. And then the last thing I had, and I may guess maybe this is for the agenda items and it doesn't have to be, just I would like an update or some type, I think in ComGov of I know we were thinking of putting more cameras or, upgrading our live streaming capabilities. So if there's an update, I would love that at some point.
I'll give you one right now.
Let's go.
Does that work for you?
Let's go,
We actually
yes.
have two representatives of the company that are going to be doing the upgrades in the audience today, so they can see how the board functions and what our needs are.
I love it. You are
You
my
knew that.
second favorite. I didn't know that.
You knew that.
I have no idea who they
Okay.
I didn't know.
We're moving on it.
No clue. I love it. Now you're my second favorite people in the room next to Melissa, so thank you.
So the wheels are turning.
Awesome. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, so I noticed that Director Torres snuck it in again on future requests for agenda items, so she's not following the agenda. Okay. Couple of comments. had very, very busy week, and I wanted to do a shout out first. Although Director Torres did to Michael, she didn't do what I thought she was going to do. So our very own Michael Hadley has graduated from the Riverside Leadership Academy. So many of us were in attendance to watch him proudly accept that graduation and turn the tassel. So congratulations, Michael. You have added to a long and distinguished list of staff members here at Western who have taken part in that very prominent academy, and you have to apply for it and be accepted to it, and it is a very large time commitment for you to be in attendance of that, and it's a year-long program, correct? It's like 10 months? Yeah, so there's a significant amount of time that's put into that, so congratulations, and we were all proud to sit there and watch you graduate from that, so kudos to you. Also wanted to thank staff. We went to the city council meeting down in Marietta, and we did a very impromptu briefing for the city council members to talk about our agreement and approvals with Rancho California Water District for our wheeling agreement. So we look forward to going back and doing a more formal presentation. The mayor had invited me to come and make our couple of minutes presentation on what the status was of that. So we were really excited to bring that about and talk about those types of things. So thank you very much for all of that. Wanted to talk about, I went down to Rancho California Water District and I was invited to be at a water briefing and a tour with our chairwoman at Metropolitan, Gloria Gray. So they did a very big regional overview on reliability, their groundwater programs, did a whole Rancho presentation, and then we took a tour out at Wilson Creek, out at the winery, to talk about their different water-saving measures and how scientific and how they are going through all of these different processes, and they're trying to implement things in there. So found out that the guy that's in charge of the vineyard came from the biotech industry. I mean, it's very scientific based of what they're trying to do with the grapes and how they're trying to use all of the water to its best and greatest use and produce all of those crops, because it is a huge ag crop down there in the central part of, or the southern part of our service territory. And it's a huge economic driver to the industry and to the region. So they bring in significant dollars to this area. So kudos to them for being at the forefront and leading some industry technology out there and showing that and saving it for everybody to be able to see. So they bring all those people in. So really good for that. I think Chairwoman was very impressed with that operation and those organizations and hearing about all of the things. She's really spent a significant amount of time here in the Inland Empire. She's toured our facilities, she's toured Rancho, she's toured Elsinore, she's toured Eastern. So I think she understands the Inland Empire is exactly where it's at, and we've got innovation in our corner, and we're really trying to make an effort, and our customers are doing a fantastic job helping us do that. So wanted to really thank Gloria for coming out here and spending some time and carrying that message forward to Metropolitan as a whole so that they understand we're really working hard out here and doing a good job at it. So we appreciate all of our partnerships, the collaboration, and she really is impressed with our regional approach and that we're all working together hand in hand. So really good messaging for that to be carried forward to Met. So thank you to all the staff members that participate in that, and thank you to all of our partner agencies. I really appreciate our collaboration efforts. Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and move on here to future requests for agenda items. Anybody? We already got Director Torres. So, okay, seeing none. We have some information items that you can peruse at your leisure. We do have a closed session for conference with legal counsel, and I see legal counsel in the room. Legal counsel, did you want to kick us off to that closed session for what we've got going on? Because I believe there are 2 items under that for those closed session items. And good morning, sir.
Good morning. That's correct, Madam President. We'll be going into closed session on 2 matters today. The first is General Manager Performance Evaluation, and the second is Conference with Labor Negotiator. I'm the district's designated representative in this matter, and the unrepresented employee is the general manager.
Great, thank you very much. So at this time, we'll go ahead and move into closed session, and that we'll see everybody in the closed session room in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, and thank you.
So you're done?